Thank you so much.
All right, we've got one more song for you guys. We're so happy you're all here. More and more people are coming up. We just want to say what you guys already know, which is this election is so important. So just thank you guys for being here today. And as we go into next year, just keep it up and keep it going. Thank you guys. We're local natives. We appreciate you. Well, local natives, thank you very much. We'll see you guys out there.
Thank you, guys.
confusion, just hoping that they would listen. Start a new coalition against corrupt politicians. It's not enough opposition, too many murder convictions. Nothing family evicted, nothing black man the victim. That's as real as it's getting. You should take recognition. And the land of the free is full of freeloaders. Leave us dead in the street to be the organ donors. They disorganized, my people made us all loners. Still got the last names of our slave owners. And the land of the free is full of freeloaders. Leave us dead in the street to be the organ donors. They disorganized, my people made us all loners. Yeah, we can't change the world unless we change ourselves. Die from the sicknesses if we don't seek the help. All eyes be my witness when I speak was felt. Full house on my hands, the cards I was dealt. 3 Ks, 2 A's in America. I'm just a black space born out the nebula. And everything I do is say the day that's worthwhile. Will for sure inspire action in your first child. Yeah.
What are you changing? Who do you think you're changing? You can't change things, we're all stuck in our ways. It's like trying to clean the ocean. What do you think you can drain it? Well, it was poison and dry long before you came. But you can wake up younger under the knife, and you can wake up sounder if you get analyzed. And I better wake up there, but for the grace of God, oh, it's hard to believe your prophets when they're asking you to change things, but with their suspect lives, we look the other way. Are you really that pure, sir? Thought I saw you in Vegas. It was not pretty, but she was. But she will wake up wealthy, and you will wake up 45, and she will wake up with a baby there. But for the grace of God, go What am I fighting for? The cops are at my front door. I can't escape that way. The windows are in flames. And what's that on your ankle? You say they're not coming for you, but house arrest is really just the same. Like when you wake up behind the bar, trying to remember where you are. Haven't crushed all the pretty things there, but for the grace of God, oh, but I still for grace of God go I. But for the grace of God go I. But for the grace of God go I. We could just carry on, act like nothing's wrong. Don't leave me in the dark. Don't leave me in the dark. I've gotten used to the mess. Got used to shallow breaths. Don't leave me in the dark. Don't leave me in the dark. You think you're keeping the peace, but you creep away from me. You think you're keeping the peace. Don't keep yourself from me. Wide eyes, eyes wide. I wanna fight her. Don't lie this time. I need a fighter. You're my right side. I want a fighter. Don't leave me in the dark. Don't leave me in the dark. You got it all figured out. Think you can carry it all. I'm carrying the spark. I'm carrying the spark. You think you're keeping the peace, but you creep away from me. You think you're keeping the peace. Don't keep yourself from me. Wide eyes, eyes wide. I want a fighter. Don't lie this time. I need a fighter. You're my right side. I want a fighter. Don't leave me in the dark. Don't leave me in the dark. Give me something, just a little something. Give me something, baby, quit running. Give me something, just a little something.
Please welcome to the stage Bernie 2020 California Student Organizing Manager, Jocelyn Garcia.
Hello, good afternoon. Buenos tardes. Where's the raza at? So, I am so honored to be here with you all today. Also, before we start, I would like to give a shout out to the Los Angeles Recreation and Parks. Can we give them a round of applause, please, for hosting us? My name is Jocelyn Garcia. I am the California Bernie Student Organizing Manager. I am also a 25-year-old working class American. I am a sister to two younger brothers, and I am the daughter of Mexican and Guatemalan immigrants. Next to me on stage are my parents, Esperanza Garcia and Salustrio Garcia. My parents immigrated to this country when they were 18. They fled violence and poverty in Mexico and Guatemala. I am here today because of them. And they are here today because Senator Bernie Sanders has been the only candidate who has consistently been behind immigrants and the working class Americans. He is someone that we can trust. Nosotros podemos confiar en él. And it is important that now we show up for this movement, for each other, and for Senator Bernie Sanders. So, how are we going to do that? This rally is important, but it is not enough to just come to rallies to listen to Senator Bernie Sanders and Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. We have to go back home after today and talk to every person we know and every person we don't know. That is how we will win. The power of this campaign is you all. You all are the most important part of this campaign. Now, to further support the campaign and show your support, I want you all to go to our merch table and buy some Bernie 2020 merchandise. Look at these great t-shirts and posters, y'all. Let's turn around. 100% of your purchases benefit the campaign and keep our messages of $15 minimum wage, Medicare for all, college for all, and so many others to keep going. Our awesome local volunteers are ready to help you over there after the rally. Now, where are the students at? Let's raise your hands. When students vote, Bernie wins. Students, there are people counting on you all not to show up to vote. People count on you all to not show up in order to maintain the status quo. But are we going to allow that to happen? I can't hear you. Are we going to allow that to happen? Exactly. So after today, students, you are in the best position to turn out the 6 million students in this state to vote for Bernie and this campaign. Your power as students is all that you need. You have everything you need to turn them out. And so because of that, after this rally, 25 minutes after, we're going to meet by the skate park to have a student organizing meeting so that you get the skills and the trainings to ensure that students turn out to vote and vote for Bernie and this movement. Now, I want you all to take out your phones and wave them up in the air like you just don't care. So this campaign is fueled by hundreds of people like you and I who make small donations. We're not funded by big corporate interests. It's normal people like my parents who make $3 donations, $20 donations, and so on. So to keep us competitive in this race, I want you all to take out your phones that you just waved like you don't care and text donate to 67760. Again, text donate to 67760 and make a $27 contribution. There we go. Now, while you have your phones out, I also, if you are feeling the burn, I want you to download the Burn app. Who here already has the Burn app? Woo! So when you download the Burn app, this is the easiest way to spread the message of our campaign and to organize our friends, family, and community members. With your help, we will be able to mobilize millions of people across California to win this election and get Bernie Sanders in the White House. So, I am predicting that there is going to be about 20,000 of us out here, maybe a little bit more. That is 20,000 votes for this election. And on March 3rd, the day of our primary, we're going to have 20,000 votes. But It is not enough just to have 20,000 votes, y'all. We need millions and millions of other votes. So when it comes to voting on March 3rd, which is less than 90 days away, I need you all to bring 9 friends with you all to vote as well. And then we will have 200,000 votes from there. But 200,000 votes is not enough. We need millions of votes. So in order to get millions of votes, I am asking everyone to volunteer once a week. There are 10 weeks until January. So if you all volunteer once a week, that is only 10 volunteer shifts. Can you all do that? Can you all volunteer once a week for Medicare for all, college for all, a Green New Deal, housing for all, jobs for all? Can you all do that? Now I'm going to hold you accountable to that. So I want you to raise your fist in the air. And I want you to repeat after me. I commit to volunteer once a week. So we win California. That's right. Okay, so we have 200,000 volunteer shifts. Oh, excuse me, 20,000 with you all, but you're also bringing your friends, right? So when you bring your friends, I want you all to bring 5 people with you every time you go out to volunteer during these 10 weeks. Can you all bring 5 people? I can't hear you all. Do we want to win this? So raise your fists in the air again. And I want you to repeat after me. I commit to bring 5 people to volunteer so we can win California. That's right. So if you all bring 5 people, also bring 9 other people to vote for you all, that is going to mean that we're going to have over 1 million shifts just from the people who showed up today. That is how we're going to win this election. That is how we're going to win California. That is how we're going to win the White House and so many of the other issues that brought us here today. Now, before I leave, I want to make sure that we also give a shout out to another amazing movement that's been doing work. It is important that we support movements. So please join us for the Mass March for Justice at Hollywood Franklin Park on December 22nd at 3 p.m. The Mass March for Justice is being hosted by Black Lives Matter Los Angeles. It is important that we show up as well. So on March 3rd, my mother is going to vote for the first time for a presidential candidate. And she's going to vote for Bernie Sanders. And on March 3rd, my dad, unfortunately, he can't cast the vote, but he's going to be out there organizing our communities to make sure that the sit-ins are able to do so. Thank you all so much for being here, and it is my honor to introduce our next guest. With millions of followers on social media and billions of views and streams from around the world, these Grammy Award-winning siblings are Mexican-American singer-songwriters with a progressive vision. Today, they join Bernie 2020, sharing their microphone with the millions of Americans fighting for a better future. Please give a big round of applause for Jesse and Joy.
How's everyone doing this morning? We're so happy to be here, and we're so happy to see so many pretty faces here in the crowd. You guys are amazing.
Quisiera darte el mundo entero, la luna, el cielo, el sol y el mar, regalarte las estrellas en una caja de cristal, llevarte al espacio sideral y volar como lo hace Superman. Quisiera ser un superhéroe y protegerte contra el mal, regalarte la Vía Láctea en una caja de cristal, llevarte al espacio sideral y volar como lo hace Superman. Me tienes tan debilitada, todas mis fuerzas se me van si estás aquí, y mis poderes no son nada. Me siento tan normal, tan frágil, tan real, me elevas al espacio sideral, tal como lo hace Superman. Quisiera hacerte un gran poema, besar el cielo de papel, tomar las nubes como crema y hornearte un super pastel, llevarte al espacio sideral y volar como lo hace Superman. Me tienes tan debilitada, todas mis fuerzas se me van si estás aquí, y mis poderes no son nada. Me siento tan normal, tan frágil, tan real, me elevas al espacio sideral. Me tienes tan enamorada que todas mis fuerzas se me van si estás aquí, y mis poderes no son nada. Me siento tan normal, tan frágil, tan real, me siento tan normal, tan frágil, tan real, me elevas al espacio sideral, tal como lo hace Superman.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
When you were by my side, we would shine like the northern lights, the glow of soft and green. Felt like I could do anything. Heartless darkness crept across and covered up my eyes. How do I stop your shadow from leaving all in black and white? And it's 40 nights since you quit my life, left without a sound, left without a sound. I hate this, to feel turn blue to yellow, then they fade. They fade, they fade, they fade. But you broke me like a ball. I might never be whole again. Heartless darkness crept across and covered up my eyes. How to stop your shadow from leaving all in black and white? And it's 40 nights since you quit my life. Left without a sound, left without a sound. I hate this, to feel so helpless. And it's times like this when I miss your kiss. Wish we never met, wish I never let me love you. Never felt this helpless. Go be happy, go and be free. It's all the same to me. Go be friend, go be enemy. Let's be strangers, let the pain just go away. Hoy se cumple un mes que ya no me ves. Te fuiste nada más, quisiste renunciar a quererme. Y me dueles, dueles, dueles. Mientras pienso en ti y en lo que perdí, quisiera evitar haberme permitido amarte. Y no sabes cuánto dueles, dueles. Como dueles. Me duele. Como duele.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We're brother and sister. We're Mexican American, and we are the living example and the living proof that there is so much strength and diversity, so much strength and unity. And of course, we know what it's like to be on the road together as siblings, and we know that families belong together. So we're so happy to be joining forces with people like Senator Sanders and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. So you guys, it's great that you're that you're all out here, but you guys need to register, you guys need to vote. We need to show up this 2020. We need to vote hate out of the office. We need to make a huge change, but we need to do it together.
Together we're stronger.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. No religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace.
Y que viva México.
Tú dices que soy imposible de descifrar, callada, reservada y temperamental, que te encantaría que me expresara un poco más y hablar de sentimientos a mí no se me da, pero lo voy a intentar. Te amo tanto, tanto que me siento tonta, tonta que me duele tanto cuando tú no estás. Te amo tanto, y para que imagines cuánto, cuenta todas las estrellas que son la luna más. Soy reservada, no lo tomes personal. Tanta cursilería me suele incomodar. Si me quedo sin palabras, no es intencional. ¿Cómo expresar algo que yo no sé explicar? Pero lo voy a intentar. Te amo tanto, tanto que me siento tonta, tonta que me duele tanto cuando tú no estás. Te amo tanto, y para que imagines cuando, cuenta todas las estrellas y suma luna más, y suma luna más. Te amo tanto, tanto que no sé explicarlo, tanto que hasta yo me espanto solo de pensar que te amo tanto, tanto que me siento tonta, tonta que me duele tanto cuando tú no estás. Tanto, y para que imagines cuánto, cuenta todas las estrellas, súmale todas mis cejas, y cuando crees que ya se acerca, súmale una más, y súmale una más. Thank you so much. Thank you. Me miras diferente, me abrazas y no siento tu calor. Te digo lo que siento, me interrumpes y terminas la oración. Siempre tienes la razón. Tú, libreto de siempre tan predecible, ya que me lo sé. Así que corre, 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 corazón. De los dos tú siempre fuiste el más veloz. Toma todo lo que quieras, pero vete ya, que mis lágrimas jamás te voy a dar. Así que corre como siempre, no mires atrás. Lo has hecho ya y mucha pena te digo no, conmigo no. Vi lo que podía, pero en media puerta se quedó mi corazón. Tú, libreto de siempre tan repetido, ya no te queda bien, así que corre, 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 corazón. De los dos tú siempre fuiste el más veloz. Toma todo lo que quieras, pero vete ya, que mis lágrimas jamás te voy a dar. Así que corre como siempre, no mires atrás. Lo has hecho ya y la verdad me da igual. Tú, el perro de siempre, los mismos trucos, ya me lo sé. Así que corre, 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 corazón. De los dos tú siempre fuiste el más veloz. Toma todo lo que quieras, pero vete ya, que mis lágrimas jamás te voy a dar. Han sido tantas despedidas que en verdad dedicarte un verso más está de más. Así que corre como siempre, que no mire detrás. Lo has hecho ya y la verdad me da igual. Lo has hecho ya y la verdad me da igual. Lo has hecho ya, pero al final me da igual. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Muchísimas gracias a todos. It's a pleasure to be here today. Remember to show up, remember to register, remember to vote. We're Jesse and Joy, and you are at an awesome event with amazing people. Desde pequeñita me enseñó mamá, hay quien te ve gato por liebre. Hija, no te dejes engañar, cuida tu corazón. Te dije cuando yo te conocí, ojo por ojo el hombre que miente. Me dijiste yo no soy así, yo te creí amor. Y hace tiempo siento que algo raro aquí está pasando. Y ese pensamiento ya no me deja dormir en paz. Son las 3 de la mañana y no has llegado. Sé que estás con alguien y lo estás negando.
Dime que te dijeron que yo te siento tan desconfiada. Yo solo estaba con mis amigos tomando tequila en la madrugada, pasando la vez.
Así andaba yo
Y el reloj miré, pero sepa qué culpa tengo yo. Te garantizo que este loco te quiere como nadie te ha querido. Yo te juro que no está en él. Cambia esa cara, te lo pido, cámbiala. Oh, para molestarse no hay ningún motivo. Vive la vida, que yo solo quiero estar contigo.
y hace tiempo siento que algo raro aquí está pasando. Y ese pensamiento ya no me deja dormir en paz. Son las 3 de la mañana y no has llegado.
desconfiada. Yo solo estaba con mis amigos tomando tequila en la madrugada, pasándola bien. Así andaba yo y el reloj miré, pero se paró, ay, qué culpa tengo yo. Hace tiempo siento que algo raro aquí está pasando. Ese pensamiento ya no me deja dormir en paz. Son las 3 de la mañana y no has llegado. Sé que estás con alguien y lo estás dejando. Ay, dime que te dijeron que yo te siento tan desconfiada. Yo solo estaba con mis amigos tomando tequila en la madrugada, pasándola bien. Así andaba yo y el reloj miré, pero se paró. Ay, qué culpa tengo yo.
Thank you very much, guys.
Muchísimas gracias.
Feel the burn.
Our next act is a group of first-generation and immigrant Americans. They are internationally renowned with platinum hits such as My Body and Cough Syrup. They recently headlined at the Forum, and to cap it off, their single Superposition reached #1 on alternative radio this year. Please give a big hometown welcome to Young the Giant.
Hello. So, we figured we'd start this. I'm gonna do a song that I don't think I've ever played live before, but it's for Bernie. I think the lyrics apply pretty well. It's not for me to believe in everything, and of course, sir, you should know I'd be lying if I told you I know. But the world is sincere when you whisper in my ears, take me to a place so divine. Tell me of the rambling man, and I'll walk for the rest of my life. I'll climb all the mountains and sleep in the wild. Heart in my chest, I've got the rest of my life. It's not too late. Just a couple of years down the drain. Oh, I know I've made mistakes. I feel guilt for the things I can't change. But there's nothing I fear when you whisper in my ears, take me to a place so divine. Tell me of the rambling man, and I'll walk for the rest of my life. I'll climb all the mountains and sleep in the wild. Oh, heart in my chest, I've got the rest of my life. I'll follow you, I'm calling your name, searching for something I can't explain. Tell me you're the rambling man, and I won't forget. How could I forget you, my friend? And I'll walk for the rest of my life. I'll climb all the mountains and sleep in the wild. Oh, heart in my chest, I've got the rest of my life. Let me put this up here. All right. This one's called Art Exhibit. a picture of you today. I had an art exhibit on memory lane. You wore those pearls we found on Champs-Élysées, framed like the golden masters, forgotten all these years, pouring like rain. A true thought appears, oh, the genius of pain. Without a name, pouring like rain. Cause I'm on my back again. Words we had to describe the same feeling. Now without a meaning. Cause I'm on my back again, looking at a hole in the ceiling. I watched a movie of you today, silver screen, adapted from my thoughts on Broadway. You saved the world. We lived in such harmony. Blockbuster sales in 12 countries. Remembered all these years, pouring like rain. A true thought appears, oh, the genius of pain. Cause I'm on my back again. Words we had to describe the same feeling. Now without a meaning. Cause I'm on my back again, looking at a hole in the ceiling. Thank you. 1, 2, 3. Mind over matter, does it matter to any of us? Don't change the subject. I'm heavy on your love. I missed that train, New York City rains. Fly be shaking it, 'cause I'm a young man after all. And when the seasons change, will you stand by me? 'Cause I'm a young man built to fall. It's heavy on my tongue. All the lights aglow, Tokyo snows. Going to watch the show, curtains closed. I'm watching you this time. And if the world don't break, I'll be shaking it, 'cause I'm a young man after all. The seasons change, will you stand by me? 'Cause I'm a young man built to fall. I missed that train, New York City race. Fly to East LA in big jet planes. You know you're on my mind. Tokyo snows. Go to watch the show, curtains closed. I'm watching you this child. Mind over matter. Stand by me, 'cause I'm a young man built to fall. Thank you. We'd like to thank AOC Bernie for having us here. I am a first-generation American-born citizen. Our third record is about that immigrant experience, I think, which a lot of you may know. We're all immigrants here in America anyway. This one is called America. And so I've arrived with gold in my eyes. Are you paying attention? I was searching for something as I watch you run. I was tapped when you said that you never really wanted to. Were you looking for someone? As I watch you go, I am mad because I don't know what you use it for. I was talking about one day in America, throw my hands in the air, flash faded, say you care, but you don't. You know I hate it. It's a rich kid game, didn't grow up with the throne. It's all it really is. I was searching for something as I watch you run. I was sad when you said that you never really wanted to. Were you looking for someone? As I watch you go, I am mad because I don't know what you use it for. Always talking about one day in America, same old story. Oh, you I'm glorison. I've been looking for so long, but you cut me out. Throw my hands in the air, 'cause your palace, all the friends you own, so jealous. Thought that rich kid pain what it is to be alone. It's all it really I was searching for something as I watch you run. I was sad when you said that you never really wanted to. Were you looking for someone? As I watch you go, I am mad because I don't know what you use it for. Always talking about one day in America, same old story. Oh, you I'm glorison. In America, in America. In America, in America. In America, in America. Thank you. So we heard about this a few days ago. Our drummer is out of town, so a good friend of ours, Louis Diller, filled in. So everyone give it up for Louis. Okay. no psychic vision. But when things fall into place, superposition. In any universe, you are my dark star. I want you to want me. Why don't we rely on chemistry? Why don't we collide the spaces that divide us? I want you to want me. Superstition aims with imprecision. But when things can't be explained, superposition. In any universe, you are my dark star. I want you to want me. Why don't we rely on chemistry? Why don't we collide the spaces that divide us? I want you to want me. La-di-da-da-da-da. La-di-da-da-da-da. I want you to want me. No matter what we do, I'll be there with you. I want you to want me. Why don't we rely on chemistry? Why don't we collide the spaces that divide us? I want you to want me. La-da-da-da-da. Thank you. This is our last song. We are Young the Giant. Next up, AOC and Bernie, baby. Life's too short to even care at all. I'm losing my mind, losing my mind, losing control. Fish fishes in the sea, they're staring at me. When the world aches for a beat of a drum. If I could find a way to see this straight, I'd run away to some fortune that I should have found by now. I'm waiting too short to even care at all. I'm coming up now, coming up now out of the blue hole. These zombies in the park, they're looking for my heart. A dark world aches for a splash of sun. If I could find a way to see this straight, I'd run away to some fortune that I should have found by now. If so, I run out to the things they say could restore me, restore life the way it should be. I'm waiting for this car zero to come down. Life's too short to even care at all. I'm losing my mind, losing my mind, losing control. If I could find a way to see this straight, I'd run away to some fortune that I should have found by now. So I run out to the things they say could restore me, restore life the way it should be. I'm waiting for this car zero to come down. One more spoon of cough syrup now. One more spoon of cough syrup now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Where's my pen? I'm signing. I like those Balenciagas, the ones that look like socks. I like going to the Tula. I put rocks all in my watch. I like texts from my exes when they want a second chance. I like proving wrong. I do what they say I can't. They call me Cardi, Cardi, banging body, spicy mommy, hot tamale, hotter than a Somali. Virgo, Ferrari, hop up the stoop, jump in the coupe. Big dip on top of the roof, flexing them as hard as I can. Eating halal, driving a lamb. So that bitch, I'm sorry though. Got my coins like Mario. Yeah, they call me Cardi B. I run this shit like cardio. Diamond district in the chain. Certified, you know I'm gang, 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 gang. Drop the top and blow the brand. Oh, he's so handsome. What's his name? I need the dollars to change. Beat it up like piñatas. Tell the job, close the curtains. That chick make you nervous.
Chambean, chambean, pero no jalan. Tú compras todas las Jordan, a mí me las regalan. I spend in the club, what you have in the bank. This is the new religion bank, el Latino gang. Trato de hacer dieta, pero es que en el closet tengo mucha grasa. Ya mudé la Gucci pa' dentro de casa, yeah. A ti no te conocen ni en plaza. El diablo me llama, pero Jesucristo me abraza. Guerrero como Eddie, que viva la raza, yeah. Me gustan boricua, me gustan cubana. Me gusta el acento de la colombiana. Como me ve el culo la dominicana.
me chinga la venezolana. Andamos activos, perico, pim, pim. Billetes de 100 en el maletín. Que retumbe el bajo y Valentín, yeah. Aquí prohibido amar, dile charitín. Que per pico le tengo claritín. Yo llego a la disco y se forma el motín.
Diamond District in the chain. Certified, you know I'm gang, 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 gang. Drop the top and blow the brand. Oh, he's so handsome, what's his name? I need the dollars. Beat it up like piñatas. Turn the job, close the curtains. Bad chick make you nervous.
Como Celia Cruz tengo el azúcar. Tú que va medio y se fue de pecho como Ginny Luca. Te vamos a tumbar la peluca y arranca pa'l carajo. Que a ti no te va a pasar la boca. Mi tele y Valenciaga me reciben en la entrada. Para, sí, like I'm Lady Gaga. Y no te me hagas, que en cover de vivo tú has visto mi cara, no salgo de tu mente, donde quiera que viajes, escuchado mi gente. Ya no soy high, soy como el testa rosa, soy el que se la vive y también el que la goza, goza, es la cosa, mami es la cosa, el que mira sufre y el que toca goza. I said I like it like that.
I said I like it like that.
I said I like it like that.
I said I like it like that. Diamond District in the chain. Certified, you know I'm gang. Drop the top and blow the brand. Oh, he's so handsome, what's his name?
Don't you know, they're talking about a revolution. It sounds like a whisper. Don't you know, they're talking about a revolution. It sounds like a whisper. While they're standing in the welfare lines, crying at the doorsteps of those armies of salvation, wasting time in the unemployment lines. Sitting around, waiting for a
Test. There we go. Okay, I need to know something. Everybody who can hear me, raise your hands. Okay, that mic works. Okay, we're gonna check this one now. Okay, same thing. If you can hear me, raise your hands. All right. Louder. Okay, louder. Can you hear me? Sound you, now can you hear me? Louder. Okay, if you can hear me, raise your hands. There we go. They want it louder. What about the riser? Do you have me in the malt box on the riser? Riser, yes? We're good. Is there a... Okay, so the front is having problems. Yes, what they want. Okay, we're good.
got a little soul. The world is a cold, cold place to be. Want a little warmth, but who's gonna save a little warmth for me? We know the fire waits, some believers, all of the sinners the same. Girl, you and I would die, unbelievers bound to the tracks of the train. If I'm born again, I know that the world will disagree. Want a little grace, but who's gonna say a little grace for me? We know the fire waits, unbelievers, all of the sinners the same. Girl, you now die, unbelievers bound to the tracks of the train. I'm not excited, but should I be? Is this the fate that half of the world is planned for me? I know I love you, and you love to see. But what only water contains a little drop for me. See the sun go down, it's going on down, and the night is deep. Want a little light, but who's gonna save a little light for me? We know the fire waits, unbelievers, all of the sinners the same. Girl, you and I would die, unbelievers bound to the tracks of the train. I'm not excited, but should I be? Is this the fate that half of the world is planned for me? I know I love you, and you love to see. But what only water contains a little drop for me. I'm not excited, but should I be? Is this the fate that half of the world's planned for me? I know I love you, and you love to see. But what only water contains a little drop for me.
Yeah. Welcome. Welcome you. Hey. I'm your big brother. What do I have to say to the kids?
Let go, life does get tough. No need to stress, hold you back too much. Let's go, I heard they found the solution. But will you be for the revolution?
What I say to the kids?
Wake up, things might get rough. No need to stress, keeps you down too much. Wake up, I heard they found a solution. But will you be for the revolution? I'm so high up, and I like it. Hey, I'm so high up, and I like it. Hey, I am happy to take this night like other days. Somehow I feel okay. Somehow I feel yeah, ooh, ooh, yeah. I'm your big brother. I'm your big brother. Let go, life does get tough. No need to stress, hold you back too much. Let's go, heard they found a solution. Where will you be for the revolution? You be for the revolution. Where will you be for the revolution?
Love is but a song we sing, feels the way we die. You can make the mountains ring, or make the angels cry. Though the bird is on the wing, and you may not know why. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Some may come and some may go, he will surely pass.
Our next speaker co-authored and won passage for the nation's first citywide $15 an hour minimum wage and is a leader in the fight to ban fracking and transition to renewable energy. Please welcome to the stage Council Member Mike Bonin.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Venice Beach. And thank you for being part of the incredible grassroots movement that is going to elect Bernie Sanders as president. This sea of people here today is gathered in a very beautiful and a very special place. This place where we stand is where the Gabrielino Tongva Indians formed a culture that existed in harmony with the environment. This place is where people from every neighborhood in Los Angeles come together to celebrate diversity. This is a place where generations of people, artists and workers and activists, have come to form and dream a better life and a better world. But this community, like so many others in this nation, is threatened and imperiled. Right here where we stand on Venice Beach, hundreds of our sisters and brothers sleep each night. They do so within sight of neighborhoods that have become unaffordable and in the shadow of corporations that enrich the few. We stand near neighborhoods that have been ravaged by speculators and conglomerates pushing people out. This is a neighborhood that is home to 1,000 refugees from a rigged economy, from a failed healthcare system, from a broken criminal justice system, from a racist society, and from a corrupt political system. But we stand here today, all of us, ready to upend and replace those systems. We are going to fight for Medicare for all. We are going to fight for taxing billionaires, for rent control and eviction prevention, for social housing and for a homes guarantee. Because like Bernie Sanders, we declare that a safe, decent, accessible, and affordable home is a fundamental right for everyone. Now, where we stand right here on Venice Beach, behind me, we are at the edge of an ocean that is rising and a coast that is eroding. Up here, you can see the Santa Monica Mountains, where neighborhoods have actually burned because of the impacts of climate change. And over here, south of us, is the Chevron oil refinery. A symbol and an agent of an industry and an institution that is polluting our world and harming our children. But we stand here today, this big movement, tens of thousands of us, ready to block this path to self-destruction and to commit to ending the use of fossil fuels and their poisonous impact on our politics. We want a just and equitable economy, one that benefits the climate, prioritizes frontline communities, provides a just transition, and creates 20 million new jobs. Because like the Sunrise Movement, because like AOC, because like Bernie Sanders, we want a Green New Deal. Like you, I am proud to endorse Bernie Sanders and proud to be part of this movement. We will take back this country and we will move it forward. We are going to knock on doors. We are going to make thousands of phone calls. We are going to donate and we are going to organize. Together, you and me, we, all of us in Los Angeles, in California, around the country, we are going to elect Bernie Sanders president. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Our next speaker serves on the Los Angeles Council representing the 1st Council District. He is an advocate for the right of employees to unionize as well as a fierce defender of tenants' rights. Please welcome to the stage former California State Senator and Council Member Gil Cedillo.
What's up, everybody? What's up? Your democracy's up, that's right. So look, when Donald Trump announced that Mexico sent crime and criminals and rapists, he lied. And he's lied every day since then. If you look around this crowd, you're gonna see the future of America. And when Donald Trump attacked immigrants, he attacked the very essence of this nation. Because other than Native Americans, we all have an immigrant background. Immigrants come here courageously with their greatest hopes and their aspirations, not for themselves, but for their children. They come here because they have a vision. And we share that vision of a better life, of dignity and respect, a vision of affordable housing, a vision where people will be treated by the content of their character and their hard work, not by the color of their skin or their legal status. A vision where healthcare providers can provide healthcare and not be concerned about profit. A vision where working men and women can work with dignity and respect at their workplace and know that their work will be valued. Men and women equally, their work will be valued. Now let me tell you a little bit about healthcare. I was once unemployed and uninsured before I got elected. And I came home and my wife said, I have to talk to you. I have this lump. Unemployed, uninsured. Fortunately, I had some friends from college who were doctors. I called these sisters up. They had sent me to their clinic, and the doctor told my wife we had cancer. You never want to hear that, because after you hear that, you don't hear anything else. I know he kept talking in English. I didn't understand a word he said. But we struggled through it, and we were able to get some support and some care. But it was a difficult time, and no one should have to go through that. Now, I won my election, and my wife rallied, and we had a great celebration, and I went to the legislature, and I became a state senator, and I fought for immigrant rights, I fought for workers' rights, and I had the best health care you could get, the best insurance money could buy. But when cancer came back, I had to fight tooth and nail for every service, for every portion of health care. I had to fight to see whether or not I was going to give the shots or not, whether or not I was going to provide the pills or not, whether I was going to feed her or not. I had to fight for every service, even though I was a senator, and I had paid for the highest premiums for the best care. No one in an industrialized nation, a nation as rich as this nation, should ever have to struggle for health care. It's a right, and it shouldn't be a profit. Healthcare providers in this nation care about their patients when given a chance to do so. When given an opportunity, nurses is the most caring profession you could have. But it can't be based on profit. It has to be based on care, and it has to be based on a right. And Bernie Sanders will make sure that we have Medicare for all, because he believes, like we believe, healthcare is a human right. Now I know. Get closer. Now I know a little bit about immigration, although I'm not an immigrant. I'm a third-generation Mexican-American from Bora Heights, Los Angeles. My parents did immigrate to Los Angeles in the 1950s, but they came from Barstow. Of course, my father's family came from Durango, Mexico. But I know this about immigrants. They don't necessarily want to leave where they're at. They come because they have to. There are conditions that drive them here. And so they're courageous. They're the most responsible persons of their family. They're the most industrious. They take care of their families here, and they take care of their families there. And this happens all over the world. And they go with their talent and their skills, and they work hard, and they learn the language within a generation, and then they become active, and they participate, and they vote. Those are the best. Now, as our economy changes and our world changes and people leave the workforce, immigrants are the future. And Los Angeles knows a little bit about that, because 25 years ago, we led the effort against Proposition 187. And it's why California leads the effort and the resistance against Donald Trump today. Because we understand, with or without papers, all work has dignity, and all people have rights, and that immigrants are the future. They're the future of this city, and they're the future of this nation. Think about this. As boomers age out of the economy, the innovation for the new jobs will come from immigrants. The service economy and that work will come from immigrants. The manufacturing and the production is going to come from immigrants. The future is ours. All of ours, because we are all immigrants in this great nation. It's the only place in the world where people come, and they come to share what they have. They come to share their hopes and their aspirations, their greatest dreams with their children, with their communities, and with all of us. Bernie Sanders understands that. He's a children of immigrants. We will never again cage babies, let children die in the process, separate families. That system is corrupt. The president is corrupt. And we need someone who has the moral compass and the moral fortitude to stand up for what is right and for just. And Bernie Sanders is that man. That's why I'm proud again to endorse Bernie Sanders as the next president of this country. If we fight, we win. 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 Let's fight for Bernie Sanders. Let's fight for us. Let's fight for the future of this nation. God bless you. Thank each and every one of you.
Our next speakers are here on behalf of the Center for Popular Democracy and CPD Action. Please welcome to the stage Jennifer Epps Addison, Anna Maria Archia, and Christina Livingston.
Hello, Venice! My name is Christina Livingston. I am the board chair of CPD Action, and on behalf of our national network of 600,000 community members across 34 states, CPD has endorsed Bernie as the next president of the United States. But the reason I'm here is because I'm a community organizer, and the people that I work with up and down this state believe that the lack of affordable housing and the increase in homelessness is the #1 thing standing between them and their own prosperity. It is shameful that in the 5th largest economy in the world, that we have 130,000 plus of our brothers and sisters, of our seniors and our children living on the street every night. It is a shame. But Bernie is advocating for bold housing solutions like national rent control and deep investment in affordable housing. He believes like me that we all deserve a safe and affordable place to call home. It doesn't matter if we're black or we're white, if we're young or we're old, if we're differently abled or able-bodied. We all deserve that because housing is a human right, and Bernie's gonna help us get there.
Buenas tardes, mi gente. Good afternoon, Venice. My name is Anna Maria Archila, and I am here to celebrate the power of people who dare to dream and fight for a country that includes all of us. I am here because I see in Bernie the opportunity to build the country of my dreams, a country where we can all be free. Yo estoy aquí porque yo veo en Bernie la oportunidad de construir el país de nuestros sueños, un país donde todos somos libres. I came to the US when I was 17, like Bernie's father, so I am an immigrant. But this country only became my home when I found people who believed that we all deserve the freedom to stay in the place we call home. That's right. When I found the immigrant rights movement, it was by finding a movement that I found roots in this place that was new to me. So I have spent the last 20 years fighting alongside immigrant workers for safe and dignified workplaces, fighting alongside immigrant youth for the right to an education and the right to stay with our families. And fighting to make sure that we could say every day, this country is my home. I am here to stay. The immigration enforcement system is cruel, it is inhumane, it is designed to put people in cages, it is designed to separate families, it is designed for profit, and Trump is using it to advance white supremacy. But we're not sitting down, we are fighting back, right? That's right. So if you're tired of seeing people in cages, raise your hands. If you're tired of seeing families separated, raise your hands. If you're tired of living in fear, raise your hands. Together we are strong, together we are fighting back, and we are fighting alongside Bernie because he has promised to use his power to end the raids, to break up ICE and Border Patrol, to put a moratorium on deportations that are hurting so many people, and to include us in his promise of health care for everybody. So we are here because together we are powerful, we are strong, despite our fear, despite our pain, with our love, with our collective action, we will build the country of our dreams. Yes, we can. Sí se puede.
All right, beautiful people. My name is Jennifer Epps Addison, and I have one critical task. Right now, there are too many people in this country who are asking you to accept less. To accept less for your families, for your communities, for the people that you love. What we have to understand right now in this moment more than anything else is that another world is possible. That we need to understand that Black people in this country deserve so much more than just not being killed by the police. That is not freedom. We have to understand that our immigrant brothers and sisters deserve so much more than to just not have their children separated. That is not enough. So I ask you to believe 100% in your soul that this political revolution has the power not just to defeat Trump, but to build a country where we all have the freedom to thrive. Are you with me? Yes. Then I need to ask you to chant. When we say, this is in the beautiful tradition of Black call and response, so I need everybody, especially my gente in the back, to join with us. When we say, we are unstoppable. Are we unstoppable? Yes. When we say we are unstoppable, you say another world is possible. Let's hear this. We are unstoppable. Say we are unstoppable. Say we are unstoppable. Say we are unstoppable. Thank you, brothers and sisters.
Our next speaker is a fierce leader in the fight for criminal justice reform in the State Assembly. Please welcome the Assembly member from the 59th Assembly District, Reggie Byron Jones-Sawyer, Sr.
Hello, Los Angeles. I'm Reggie Jones-Sawyer. I represent South LA, which has both, all right, South LA, which has both Baptists and Catholics in my district. So I have a confession to you, because I'm a Catholic. I wasn't always a Bernie-crat. I used to be a Hillary person. I supported Hillary even against a black man. That's how bad I was. And then I had the opportunity to meet Bernie Sanders one-on-one. Then I started to feel the burn. And you know, There was a time in California when we had free college. It was done by Pat Brown in 1960. And when we did that, we had the best educated workforce in the country. So guess what free college does? It could make us not only the 5th largest economy in the world, it could make us the #1 economy in the world. That's what Bernie talked to me about. And when I told him that I'm a diabetic, and then when I told my doctors, quit giving me metformin, glipizide, and insulin, that they were drug pushers, we argued so long they called the police on me. Bernie said, we need prescription drug turnaround in this country because that's too damn high. And the prescription drug people are making too much money on the backs of poor people, black people, and brown people, and God darn it, all people. When you go to my community where I have a lot of poor people who for years I thought Miss Mylan owned her home, I found out she rented it. And now the kids are coming in after the grandparents have died, and now they've raised the rent. And as we all know, the rent's too damn high. That's what Senator Bernie Sanders talked to me about. And then finally, I'm chair of public safety. I've gone to more prisons than I ever wanted to in my entire life. And all I see in these prisons are people that look like me, Latinos, and poor people. We've just locked up too many people in this country, and especially California. And Bernie Sanders' plan for criminal justice will turn that around. I touched the stove, and I felt a little burn. Then my candidate, Kamala Harris, dropped out. Well, as a black man, you never go against a sister. So talk to the black people about that. It'll make you understand. And then I touched the stove a little longer. I could feel the burn a little stronger. And then I found out he's called T.O. Bernie. They call me T.O. Reggie. In my district, I said, wouldn't that be cool? Both T.O. Reggie and T.O. Bernie running in South Los Angeles at the same time? Then I really started to feel the burn. Then California's starting to feel the burn. Oh my God, I feel the burn! We're not only gonna win this nationally, we're gonna turn this state into a Bernie Sanders state so we can make the reforms we need. Let's go ahead, hashtag T.O. Reggie loves T.O. Bernie. Let's take it to the White House. Let's win for Bernie.
Our next speaker is an outspoken political activist and Academy Award-winning actor known for his roles in Shawshank Redemption and Mystic River. Please welcome to the stage Tim Robbins.
Hello. I'm here today to endorse Bernie Sanders to be the next president of the United States. Yesterday, I was in Avenal State Prison. Louder. You saying louder? Lean into it. Gotcha. Yesterday, I was in, there it is. I'm here today to endorse Bernie Sanders to be president of the United States. Yesterday, I was in Avenal State Prison watching a play written and performed by 25 incarcerated men. Black, white, brown, old, young, Northerners, Southerners, all now creating together, all serving life sentences. The play was about racism and forgiveness and redemption. The main character didn't want his son to be friends with a black man. And in the course of the play, after the classmate's death, and after his son's near death, the racist man had a transformation. He finds redemption. He embraces the beating heart of his former object of hate, the heart now beating in his own son's body. It was an incredible performance, and it left the audience stunned. People were weeping. The man on the stage, the family members that had come to join him, even the warden. I came away from that prison with a hope for the future. If these men in a level 2 prison can find the courage to defy racial division, stand in a room and create, respect, support, and love their former enemy. If these men in this dangerous and stressful environment of a prison can rise above their former hatred, then so can we. We're living in times of bitter rancor, hateful rhetorics thrown around, divisions in families, kin swearing off each other for political reasons. There's a raging discontent underneath this robust economy. Lots of fighting, and we're asked to take sides, to define ourselves by our differences. And we are encouraged to distrust the other, to hate the other. And as long as we buy into that, as long as we are fighting with our brother, our co-worker, our neighbor, we will never unite against the ones that are profiting from this division. We have so much that unites us. We all want clean air, healthy water. We all want jobs that pay us enough so that we can hold our heads up with dignity. We all want to provide a future, a better future for our children. We all want to be cared for when we are ill and to not worry that this illness will lead to our bankruptcy or possibly homelessness. Most of us want that for our neighbor, too. Do you? Yet despite all this rancor and divisiveness being thrown around these days, I still believe that there is goodness in the hearts of all of us. And I still believe that perspectives can shift, eyes can be opened, hearts too. I'm endorsing Bernie Sanders today because I believe that when he is elected, he will lead this country with a spirit of inclusiveness and in the service of the people he represents, not the money that got him there. In service to the people, a basic concept of democracy, but a forgotten one. The president is not a king. He works for us. Bernie has always governed that way. He's been a faithful representative of his constituents in Vermont for years. He has never abused his position for personal gain. He's been standing up for the poor, the disenfranchised, the shunned, the oppressed for years. As a college student, he was arrested for protesting against racist housing discrimination. For his entire life, he has marched on picket lines with striking workers and stood up for immigrant rights and marched in opposition to war. He's what my grandfather used to call the genuine article. I support Bernie Sanders because I believe he will lead from a moral center, born of a lifelong commitment to serving the needs of the poor, the American worker, the single mother, the family farmer, the student in debt, the couple struggling to keep their home, the beautiful souls that constitute the core, the majority of this country. I support Bernie because I believe him when he says that he will declare a state of emergency on his first day in office to address the climate crisis that threatens this planet. I support Bernie because he is the candidate that has the broadest base of support, a volunteer base of 1 million strong, ready to knock on doors. The kind of support that can motivate and sustain the changes that will be necessary to bring bold transformation to this country. It's not going to be easy. There are many obstacles in the way. But yesterday, I witnessed the impossible come true at Avenal State Prison. After the play, the men were talking with each other, their guests visiting with their family, and a friend of mine pointed to two men who were talking to each other, laughing, hugging. It was one of our formerly incarcerated teachers, Jason, and one of the writers of the play, still incarcerated, Pedro. You see that scar on Jason's head? It's from a knife fight with Pedro from 10 years ago. They used to be enemies looking for blood. And now, in this room, they were collaborators, partners, friends. There in that moment, I saw the future manifested in the purest form of forgiveness and the overwhelming power of love. The way forward for all of us must be through unity, not division. We can be passionate and certain about our candidate and do so with open ears, with a respect for differences and a love for even those that do not want to listen. We need to find new alliances, unexpected friends. We need to sow the seeds of unity with our actions and our deeds, practice tolerance, and wield the overwhelming power of love when we are advocating for Bernie Sanders. When Bernie Sanders says, "Not me, us," he is reminding us that it is a movement, not an individual, that will transform this country. It is all of us as a collective, not the cult of one, that will bring change. And it is exactly because of that perspective, that humility, that understanding of how democracy works, that I wholeheartedly endorse Bernie Sanders as the next president of the United States.
Please welcome to the stage a man who needs no introduction, Dr. Cornel West.
Let the word go forth
And just be quiet for a second and just look at each other, your wonderful souls, your hearts, your minds, your beauty. Oh, I wish you can see how beautiful you really are. Because we're here in solidarity in the name of integrity, honesty, decency. Bernie Sanders has a longevity of integrity, a longevity of consistency. He is the real thing. We're not dealing with semblance or simulacra. We're talking about somebody who is for real. And when I talk about for real, I come from a people who've been hated for 400 years and taught the world so much about love. John Coltrane's Love Supreme. Stevie Wonder, Love and Anita, Love, Aretha Franklin, Toni Morrison's Beloved, and justice is what love looks like in public. That's why we're here in solidarity at the level of our humanity. And we don't speak out of hate, but we know a milquetoast neoliberal politician when we see one. We're looking for a serious critique of Wall Street, not hating rich folk, but hating greed, greed, greed. Well, somebody understands ecological catastrophe. Somebody understands the vicious legacies of white supremacy and male supremacy, losing sight of the humanity of Mexicans and Muslims and Arabs and Jews and indigenous peoples, but also poor, white, working class brothers and sisters too. All of us are in it together. From indigenous to white, we're all in it together. Oh, yes, we are. We keep track of the Wall Street bureaucrats and the tech oligarchs who have a vast amount of wealth, while everyday people, not just here in Los Angeles with our precious and priceless homeless ones, but across the empire, across the country. That's why Bernie Sanders is our candidate. And last but not least, I stand here in the name of Martin Luther King Jr. The critique of militarism, materialism, racism in any form, but also eliminating poverty. I stand here in the name of Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, of Edward Said, of Dorothy Day, of Ella Baker, of Fannie Lou Hamer, and Curtis Mayfield too. Oh, yes. But I want to stop now and introduce someone who has been such a major force for good ever since she set foot in Congress, who has been willing to take a stand, and like Sly Stone said, Stan, you've been sitting much too long. There's a permanent crease in your right and wrong. She takes a stand. She is the one and the only, my dear sister, AOC. Yes, Lord, build it on the rich Puerto Rican legacy. Yeah, my sister. Soñamos en grande que supera el imperio. Gritamos algo, no queda más remedio. What's up, Los Angeles? What's up, Los Angeles? I can't hear you. What's up, Los Angeles? It's Los Angeles and California. Are you all ready for the revolution? I know I am. Thank you all so very much for coming out here today.
It's amazing. It's also really nice to get out of the freezing cold in New York and DC. But I'm so thrilled to be here. I'm so thrilled to come to the heart of where we're going to change this country. Because that is why we're really coming out today and every day until next November. And every day after that, too. I want to reiterate and go over something that Dr. West was talking about, what he mentioned. Because if those of you who don't know, you better know who Dr. West is. And one of the things that Dr. West wrote early that shaped my life deeply was something that he just said right now, which is that justice is what love looks like in public. I don't want us to take that for granted, because what we're here to do and what this campaign is about, what this larger movement is about, is establishing a loving society in the United States of America. And that is not some kind of irrational, overly feeling, sympathetic statement or sentimental statement. Because what a loving society is an advanced society. A just society, a loving society, is one that guarantees health care to all people. A loving society, an advanced society, an anti-racist society. It's a society that guarantees education of equal quality and merit to all people. And not just the education of a century ago, an education for the century to come. And that means tuition-free public colleges and trade schools in the United States of America. A loving society embraces immigrants and realizes that we cannot do this without each and every one of us linking arms together. A loving society, an advanced society, make sure that we have a planet to give to our kids. A loving and advanced society knows that we cannot continue an imperialist form of foreign policy. A loving and advanced society doesn't think of human rights as a nice to have. It thinks of human rights as the central focus of what we should be establishing here and abroad. One of the reasons why I am part of this campaign is because I know, and we all know, that this isn't just about Bernie Sanders. This is about a movement that has been decades in the making. This is not about just 4 years. This is about our lifetimes. And one of the things that makes this campaign different is that we know that we can't go back to the way things were before. Because the way things were before is how we got to where we are now. We cannot go back a world where the rich are put first and working people are put last in Washington day in and day out. We cannot go back to a world that explodes our military budget and nobody thinks anything about it. I have to tell you, these last few weeks in Congress, we've been passing appropriations budget after budget. And one of those budgets was the defense budget. And what we're seeing and what we just passed was a budget that was $120 billion more than the Obama's budget leaving in his last year in office. $120 billion more. Now, I think it's really critical that we think about this for a second, because not once was I or anyone I know asked whose taxes are gonna go up to pay for that. Not once was I asked, are we going to tax the rich or tax the middle class? Not once. This is not just some kind of campaign line. This is reality. We only talk about raising taxes when it comes to taking care of our kids and saving our planet and establishing health care. It is an ultimate hypocrisy. So I'm here to say and to tell you, when someone asks you, how are we going to pay for it? The question is not that. The question is not, how are we going to pay for it? The question is, how do we want to pay for it? Do we want a wealth tax? Do we want a Wall Street transaction tax? Do we want to treat our lives as equal in value to how much we treat our military budget? Yes, because budgets, as Dr. King said, are moral documents. Budgets are moral documents. They tell us, dollar and dime, how much we value ourselves and our priorities in that order. And what this campaign is about is a radical realignment of our priorities in the United States of America. Because we know, once again, that this moment is not about one 4-year presidential campaign. This is a movement decades in the making. It's a movement of anti-racist Black liberation activists, of immigration activists, of queer liberation activists, of the labor movement. It is a movement of all people and causes come together. And we have to take it to the starting line, because that's what we're fighting for. This election is about the start of this work, because we're nowhere near there right now. So we need to fight to start this work, the establishment of an advanced society. Because as much as we like to say, thank you, but thank you. Because as much as as we like to say that the United States is the richest country in the history, or rather in modern history. For who? The richest country. Who cares about how much gold is being amassed if we can't realize an advanced society with those resources? And we're here to say that what we're living in right now is not an advanced society. A society that allows people. It is fascism. What we have, what we're evolving into as well. And so one of the things, thank you. And so one of the things, thank you. And that's the work that we're committed to. And so what we have to do is admit and use the words that, sorry, I'm a little thrown off, but I'm coming back here. I'm recentering, guys. And so what we gotta do is to say that a nation that allows people to die because they can't afford their insulin is not an advanced nation. A nation where people are too poor to live while GDP skyrockets and the Dow goes up and the NASDAQ and stock prices continue to skyrocket is not an economy that's working for us. And if we're measuring our success based on stock prices and not wages, we've got a problem. We have to determine our measures of success. And one thing more is that this is not just about the concentration of capital and wealth on the 1%, or rather the top tenths of 1%. But it's also about that happening on the scaffolding of slavery and imperialism and racism. And when we acknowledge both of those things at once, we can establish justice. And I'm telling you, it's not that far off. It is always darkest before dawn. And it's dark right now, needless to say. But there are several ways in which Senator Sanders distinguishes himself. One way is that he has one of the most ambitious climate plans in the country, period. His Green New Deal is a solution that actually attempts to be on the scale of the crisis. If you want to know what we risk if we don't act adequately on climate, look at what is happening in Australia right now. The fires are so big, they can't even fight them anymore. We're seeing 3 days of the hottest days on record happening in a row. People are trapped. Species are going endangered in a very small period of time. We belong to the earth, not the other way around. And policy that honors indigenous wisdom and leadership is smart policy. When it comes to foreign policy, Bernie Sanders also stands unique among the field. his long commitment to making sure that we are scaling back endless war is proven, and it is strong. And he knows that foreign policy is also domestic policy for so many of us, for our families, for people who have families abroad. And he knows that whether it's here at home with Puerto Rico or out abroad in Palestine, that human rights are for everyone. The right to clean water, the right to access medicine. None of these things are controversial. And that human rights are not a zero-sum game where the gains of another are a threat to ourselves. We reject that outright. But the thing is, we need to get on that starting line. We have to get on that starting line. And so what I am asking you all to do is to contribute meaningfully to this movement, to your movement. And what that means, it's more than just $1. It's more than knocking on a door. But what I always say is that each and every one of us has something to give. We all have something to give. Whether it's showing up with your neighbor and translating a form for them, whether it is knocking on your neighbor's door, whether it's creating art and posting it on the streets, whether it's writing an essay on Facebook, but don't argue with anybody, okay? That's a waste of time. We all have something to give. And what I am asking is for all of us to give whatever we can. That is what revolution looks like. And that's what we have to give. And it is happening all over the country and the world. Look at what happened in Puerto Rico earlier this year. Millions, or rather, huge percentages of the island coming out. And when they took out everything, when people were holding up signs and said, they took so much from us, we weren't scared of anything we had to lose. People went out to the streets and they engaged in what we called as cacerolazo, which is they had a wooden spoon and a pan and they made noise until they got it done. That's a big part of the movement in front of us. And we have a long list of things to do. We need to dismantle ICE and CBP. We need to recognize climate refugees. We need to guarantee a living wage. And we need to unite our fight. And so with that, I'm just so thankful to be here in this moment and in this movement with you. So I want to ask you to wear out your shoes. I want to ask you to create art for this, to paper the streets for this, to give $10 for this, to knock on a door for this, to do whatever you can for this, because this is what revolution looks like. And by the way, for anyone who accuses us for instituting purity tests, it's called having values. It's called giving a damn. It's called having standards for your conduct, to not be funded by billionaires, but to be funded by the people, which is different. And I can tell you, as a member of Congress, when people say that there is no difference between being funded by a handful of wealthy people and being funded by small grassroots donations, let me tell you something. I go into work all the time, and I hear people say, "What will my donors think?" I hear that phrase. And I see that billionaires get members of Congress on speed dial and waitresses don't. Okay? There's a difference. And a candidate that is accountable to small dollar donors is fundamentally differently aligned than anybody else. So with that, I want to introduce to you Senator Bernie Sanders.
Thank you, LA! And let me introduce to you the next First Lady of the United States, Jane Sanders.
Hello, LA. My gosh, what an incredible crowd. Thank you. I'm here as a kind of a character witness for this character. As a wife of 31 years, as a co-worker for 38 years, I can attest that there is nobody that you could trust more, count on, and believe in than Bernie Sanders. I wanted to let you know the whole campaign is not me, us, but there are other people that are behind the scenes all the time that sustain Bernie and I. Two of our sons, Dave and Levy, are here today. Come on up and wave. And two of our daughters are not here today. But they will be on other trips. We have 7 grandchildren and our children's spouses. They all support us in every way, and I just wanted to let you know that. They would agree with me 100% that Bernie was our choice growing up, working together, being married and having a family, a blended family together. And he is my choice and their choice to be the next president of the United States. And I hope you
Thank you all, and let me thank the folks who have gone before me. Let me thank the local natives for their music. Jesse and Joy. Young the Giant, Councilmember Mike Bonin, Councilmember Gil Cedillo, Assemblymember Reggie Jones-Sawyer, Jennifer Epps Addison, Christina Livingston, and Anna Maria Achilia. And let me thank my old and dear friend, Dr. Cornel West. Let me thank Tim Robbins. And let me thank Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. We kind of take it for granted, but Alexandria has been in Congress for less than 1 year. And in that 1 year, she has accomplished more than hundreds of members of Congress combined. She has spoken out against racism, sexism, homophobia. She has stood up for the working families of this country. Alexandria, thank you so much for your participation in this campaign. I don't have to tell anybody here that we are living in difficult and unprecedented time in American and world history. We have a president who is a pathological liar, who is running a corrupt administration, who is a racist, a sexist, a homophobe, a xenophobe, and a religious bigot. Other than that, not so bad. That's a joke. Brothers and sisters, what our campaign is about is not only defeating Trump. Our campaign is about a political revolution. It is about transforming this country. It is about creating a government and an economy that works for all people and not just the 1%. As Alexandria mentioned, what we have right now in America is a corrupt political system. It is a system in which billionaires are buying elections. It is a system in which voter suppression is taking place every single day. Some of you may have noticed that just in the last week, you had Republicans trying to purge hundreds of thousands of voters in Wisconsin and Georgia. What our campaign is about, what our administration will be about, is one person, one vote, not billionaires buying elections. And I am proud to tell you that as of this moment, our campaign has received more contributions from more people than any candidate in the history of the United States of America. We don't have a super PAC. We don't want a super PAC. We don't go to rich people's wine caves. This is a campaign of the working class of this country, by the working class, and for the working class. This is a campaign that will win, because while Trump wants to divide us up based on the color of our skin, or where we were born, or our religion, or our sexual orientation, our campaign and our administration is about bringing people together. Black and white, Latino, Asian American, Native Americans, we are coming together. And we are coming together around an agenda that works for working people, not billionaire campaign contributors. And what that agenda says is that if you work 40 hours a week in America, you should not live in poverty. And that is why we're going to raise the minimum wage to at least $15 an hour. We're going to have equal pay for equal work for women. And we are going to make it easier for workers to join unions. What this campaign understands is that a well-educated population is the future of America. And that is why we will implement universal, high-quality, affordable child care. That is why we will put billions into Title I low-income schools all across America. And that is why we understand that if we love the kids, we love our teachers. We don't want teachers with great experience leaving the profession because they got to work 2 or 3 jobs. We don't want teachers taking money out of their own pockets in order to buy school supplies. We're going to fund public education, and we're going to make sure that every teacher in America earns at least $60,000 a year. And I want young people, including those of you here today, to give serious thought about becoming teachers. There's no job more important. We desperately need you. And when we talk about education, that means that we will make public colleges and universities tuition-free. I grew up in a working class family, and I know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck. And I want every person in this country, regardless of his or her income, to know that they will have the opportunity to go to college, to go to a trade school, and not worry about how to pay for that. "11 years ago, against my vote, Congress voted to bail out the crooks on Wall Street. 2 years ago, Trump and his friends gave $1 trillion in tax breaks to large corporations and the 1%. Well, if Congress can bend over backwards for the rich and the powerful, we can cancel all student debt in America. And we are going to do that through a modest tax on Wall Street speculation. The working families of this country bailed out the crooks on Wall Street. Now it's time for Wall Street to help the working families of this country. And I know you, are embarrassed that we are the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people as a human right. The current health care system is not only dysfunctional, it is extraordinarily cruel. We are spending twice as much per person on health care as do the people of any other country. And yet 87 million of our people are uninsured or underinsured. 30,000 die each year because they don't get to a doctor when they should. 500,000 people go bankrupt because of medically related bills. Think about that. 500,000 people going bankrupt for what crime? Because they were diagnosed and treated for cancer, for heart disease, for Alzheimer's. That is not a system we will retain in America. The function of a rational healthcare system is to guarantee quality care for all, not to make huge profits for the drug companies and the insurance companies. So brothers and sisters, the day is coming, and it's coming soon, where we will pass a Medicare for all single-payer program. No more premiums, no more co-payments, no more deductibles, no more out-of-pocket expenses, no more paying outrageous prices for prescription drugs. We are going to take on the greed and corruption of the drug companies and the insurance companies. We're going to take on Trump and the Republican Party. We're going to take on the Democratic establishment. And whether they like it or not, we are going to pass a Medicare for all single-payer program. And I want to touch on an issue that is not just an American issue. It is a global issue, and you are all familiar with it. What the scientists are now telling us is they have underestimated the degree and severity and speed in which climate change is ravaging our country and the entire world. What they have told us is they underestimated the speed in which the polar ice caps are melting, and that the oceans are warming, and that the degree in which rising sea levels will inundate major cities in the United States and countries all over the world. They have told us we're going to see more terrible wildfires like you have experienced right here and are now taking place in Australia. We're going to see more extreme weather disturbances, which recently put Venice, Italy underwater as it did Houston, Texas. They are telling us that food production will go down because drought will limit the planting season for farmers. They are telling us that if we do not act, there will be around the world hundreds of millions of climate refugees, people who cannot stay in their homeland because there is no water, there is no land to grow their crops. Today we say to the fossil fuel industry, your short-term profits are not more important than the future of this planet. And I am proud to tell you that our campaign has introduced the most sweeping climate change proposal ever introduced by a candidate for federal offices. Now, my opponents and critics, they say, Bernie, you're proposing to spend a lot of money on climate, combating climate. And I say, what is the alternative? How much is too much when we're talking about saving the planet? So we have a proposal based on the principles of the Green New Deal. And that proposal basically says that we're going to move this country away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energy. But we have not just an American crisis, we've got a global crisis. And as President of the United States, my job will be to help lead people all over the world to make it clear that instead of spending almost $2 trillion a year on weapons of destruction designed to kill each other, that maybe we should pool our resources and combine them to fight against our common enemy, which is climate change. When we talk about a progressive agenda, together we will end a broken and racist criminal justice system. Unbelievably, today in America, we have more people in jail than any other country on earth. And our job is to put our resources into education and jobs for our young people, not more jails and incarceration. Together, we are going to end cash bail in America. Together, we are going to end private prisons and detention centers. And together, once and for all, we are going to end the destructive war on drugs. We are going to legalize marijuana in every state in this country. We are going to expunge the records of those arrested for possession of marijuana. And when marijuana is legalized all across this country, we're not going to have a handful of corporations controlling the marijuana industry. We are going to have those people most hurt by the war on drugs, our brothers and sisters in the African American and Latino and Native American community. Help them get the businesses upway to make a profit for the legalization of marijuana. And brothers and sisters, we are sick and tired of Trump's demonization of the immigrant community. We are going to end the racism and the hatred. On my first day in office, we will undo, through executive order, all of the racist executive immigration laws promulgated by Trump. On our first day in office, we will reestablish the legal status of 1.8 million young people and their parents eligible for the DACA program. On our first day in office, we will develop and implement a humane border policy. Under our administration, federal agents will not be snatching babies from the arms of their mothers, nor will we be throwing children into cages. Our administration will push for and will succeed in implementing comprehensive immigration reform and a path towards citizenship for all the undocumented in this country. Our administration will develop gun policy based on the needs of the American people, not the NRA. Universal and expanded background checks, ending the gun show loophole, ending the so-called straw man provision, and doing what the American people want, and that is ending the sale and distribution of assault weapons in this country. You know, I'm a U.S. Senator, and I'm on the floor of the Senate, and I hear many of my conservative colleagues talk about their desire for a small government, for getting the government off the backs of the American people. Well, I say to those conservatives, stop the hypocrisy. If you want to get government off the backs of the American people, understand that it is women in this country who must control their own bodies, not politicians. So my promise to you is that I will never nominate anyone to the Supreme Court who is not 100% pro Roe v. Wade. What this campaign is ultimately about, and Alexandria made the point, it is about changing our national priorities. Instead of giving tax breaks to billionaires, instead of spending more on the military than the next 10 nations combined, we are going to address the needs of the working class of this country. We are going to take on the grotesque level of income and wealth inequality, where 3 people now own more wealth than the bottom half of American society. Now, Nelson Mandela, one of the great heroes of our lifetime, he said something that was very succinct and very profound. And what he said is, and I quote, "It always seems impossible until it happens. It always seems impossible until it happens. And this is a man who walked out of a jail in South Africa to become president of that country. But what Mandela was saying is that the establishment, the economic establishment, the political establishment, the media establishment tells us every single day not to dream big, not to have high expectations, not to believe that we can make fundamental changes in our society. But we know differently. We know that the history of change in America always takes place from the bottom on up. That is the history of the trade union movement. It is the history of the civil rights movement. It is the history of the women's movement. It is the history of the gay rights movement. It is the history of the environmental movement. And where we are right now in this pivotal moment in American and world history is a moment in which tens of millions of Americans from California to Vermont have got to look around them, stand up, and understand that the status quo just is not working. Don't tell me that when we stand together, we cannot create an economy that works for all, not just a few. Don't tell me that we cannot have the best public educational system in the whole damn world. Don't tell me that we cannot join the rest of the industrialized world and guarantee health care to all as a right. Don't tell me that we cannot lead the world in transforming our energy system and creating millions of good-paying jobs as we combat climate change. Don't tell me that we cannot end a racist and broken criminal justice system. Don't tell me that we cannot have a sane and compassionate immigration system. Don't tell me that we cannot move aggressively to end gun violence in America. And don't tell me that we cannot protect a woman's right to control her own body. Brothers and sisters, I'm a United States Senator and I deal with the corporate elite every day. I deal with the greed of Wall Street and the insurance companies and the drug companies and the fossil fuel industry and the military industrial complex and the prison industrial. I know all these guys. They are powerful people. They have an endless, and I underline the word endless, amount of money. But at the end of the day, the 1% is 1%. And if we in the 99% stand together, if we don't allow Trump and his allies to divide us up based on the color of our skin or where we were born or our religion or our sexual orientation, if we stand together, if we have the courage to take on the greed and corruption of the corporate elite, if we are prepared to bring our friends and our family into the political struggle, if we have a vision of a just and humane society in front of us, brothers and sisters, when we stand together, when we fight together, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. Thank you all very much.